Good afternoon. You know, Mondays are always hard when you come off a tough and a loss kind of like we had on Saturday evening. You play a talented North Carolina team, and for 3.5 quarters, you fight and you claw and you scrap and you battle and you do everything possible to put us in the ball game and try to hang in the ball game with them. And I think I can't be exactly sure. The time, but I think it was about 6 or 7 minutes left in that third quarter, and it was still a 2-possession ball game. And we're still playing hard. We're still fighting. And, after that, it got away. It got away from us. Those are the hard things. You lose the last quarter and a half and they explode for points. And, what we were doing offensively, it just didn't turn out the way we wanted to. It wasn't for effort. I mean, they certainly went out there and played with great effort. I think at times there in the fourth quarter, there were some heads dragging and things of that nature were happening to us. But, credit a good North Carolina team. We're certainly not feeling really good today. It's hard to do it after you play 2 really good opponents and get beat the way we did in both contests. It's hard to be happy about anything that's going on in your football program. But I do think we had some positives come out of this past weekend. I think our lines of scrimmage handled their lines of scrimmage pretty well. I thought our offensive line and protection and pushing the run game a little bit were effective. And I thought our defensive line did a really good job holding them in check. I think the quarterback did have, some big runs to tackle into their rushing, but all in all, in their run game, I think our defensive line kind of handled them. They really did with quickness and some tackles for loss. So those are some positive things. And I think our special teams came out pretty clean. I think Michael Hayes did a nice job in punting. And I think, that's something that's really, really critical. And I think he averaged about 45.5 yards per punt. That was a positive thing. Noel he continues to be consistent on his field goal and extra point. So there are some positive things, but I don't think anyone on our team feels really positive about anything at this point. We've got a good Charlotte team coming in here. They're 2-0. With a head coach that's really, fired up. He's one of the hottest names in college football, Will Hilly. I hear talk about him all over, in the coach profession. The job comes open, Coach Healy's name, just because of the talent he's surrounded himself with at Charlotte. And of course, winning has put him in position to be mentioned for all those jobs. Beating Duke and beating Gardner-Webb, sitting there at 2-0. That's we certainly would like to be sitting at 2-0 as well. But it's going to be a tough challenge for us. They've got confidence. I know Will, and he instills confidence in his group. They will play with a lot of energy and a lot of emotion, and they'll come down here inspired. And it'll be a tough task at 7 o'clock come Saturday night. But we're going to be a bunch of ill individuals at that time as well. So, I don't know which one you want, but sometimes when I feel ill and mad, it brings out the best in us.
Appreciate it, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. As a friendly reminder, if you would unmute yourself, ask your question, and then mute yourself again, we would appreciate it. Go ahead. Questions for Coach.
Coach Zeke Palermo, SB Nation. On Saturday, you said you're going to, quote, make sure you have the right guys on the field and the right coaches making the right calls. Does that mean on Saturday you're going to have some sort of depth chart shakeup, coaching changes? Can you elaborate on what you meant by that?
I meant exactly what I said. If we have to shake some things up to get some different results, we're going to certainly do that. It's just Monday, so we haven't had any drastic changes at this point in time. There'll be further evaluation that goes on, but there's going to be some shakeup. As much as anything, you continue doing the same thing, you get the same results. So we're gonna do some different stuff and shake it up a little bit. I don't know exactly, what I want to share or what we're going to do, but there's going to be a little bit of that.
Awesome, thank you.
How you doing, Coach? Good to see you as always.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing
Now,
great.
I'm not sure if you know this, but you were actually trending before the game because of how energized you were with your players. A lot of people were talking about you, and I know from your from your post game statement that you like to see your guys come out with that same amount of energy when it comes to games. And especially during that time where it was a 2-point possession, and I think it was 24-10, and I think the fake punt call, was that like did you want to get that energy into your guys, kind of into your offense to show that, hey guys, that we can keep up with North Carolina? And was that the point, like with the call to kind of get you guys energized and, kind of give them a shot in the arm to get back in the game against the Tar Heels? And just a side big question, what when you look at Charlotte, where are some things that impress you most about the 49ers, and something that might challenge you the most on Saturday at home?
Okay. So to answer your first question, I always try to give the team kind of my thought process on the game. And I told them before the game we were going to be aggressive. I said, you just need to know there's going to be 4th down situations we're going to go for. We're going to push the envelope. I said, we've got to take some chances. We understand they're a good football team. You can't be passive and sit back. And yeah, it got out of hand late, but I did. I was going to be aggressive. And I told them right from the start. I said, man, you get ready. It may be on our 22-yard line. It may be, maybe a little bit further backed up than that. But if it's 4th and 2, man, we're going for it. If it's an opportunity where the situation dictates that we can be successful at it, then I was going to do it. And the fake punt, I would call that fake punt again. The thing was there. It should have been running for about 50 yards. If we'd have dealt it probably 2 steps earlier, I think Jamil probably goes down the sideline for about a 50 or 60-yard gain. It didn't work out like that. Wasn't executed the way we had hoped, and we didn't get it. But it wasn't going to be the fact that I was not being aggressive coaching. I wanted to make sure we were coming out and we were going to fire with everything that we had, and we're going to continue to do that. I told them again today, I said, I'm not going to apologize for that call. I'm not going to apologize for going on 4th down early in the ball game. I knew kicking field goals was not going to win that game. And I said, you just better get ready for it, because that's my mentality the rest of the year. We're not sitting back. We're going to attack. So for whoever's playing us, get ready.
Coach, good afternoon.
How are you, Sam?
Crenshaw. How you doing? My goodness.
That's Mr. Sam Crenshaw.
No, know about that, Coach. Look, have you ever been a part of a team that brought back this kind of experience and get off to a start like this? I mean, you bring back practically every starter from last year and a lot of success, and you can't hide from anybody. But to get off to a start, has this ever happened to you before?
Yeah, this is football. These guys are still young men. They still have probably a lot more issues than what I've had to face early on in my career. So, just because you bring back a lot of experience doesn't mean things are going to just go as smooth as possible. I mean, it really hadn't. We knew we were facing 2 really good football teams. I mean, there's no question about it. So you look at North Carolina and you look at their quarterback, and he played like one of the top picks in the draft. He certainly did. And Army, they played very well too, like a team we saw on film. We just didn't match them, either one of them, for whatever reason. But I've been in a situation like this before. It's not unusual. You still play 12 games. They're not going to stop the season after 2 and call it quits, and we won't pack our bags up. So we're going to continue to push and fight and see if we can climb out of this doggone hole we dug ourselves into. It's not a deep hole, Sam. I can look over the ledge and almost climb out myself. So they're not throwing the dirt on us. As long as they're not throwing the dirt on us, we still got a shot.
All right.
Hey, Coach Marcel Tucci, Sports Inquirer. Thanks for joining us.
Marcel, you look nice today.
I appreciate it. I don't know if it's unusual, but thank you. What about the offense? You've gotten off to slow starts against Army and North Carolina, and you mentioned the whole just getting these first half deficits and having to work your way back. What you looked at the film and reviewed it. How can you get the offense going just in the first quarter to avoid falling on these deficits and having to play from behind?
Yeah, you know, I think we got to give them a little bit more of a simplistic approach. I think if you look at us a year ago, we probably handed it off on the first possession. I don't know, 10 out of 12 game or whatever. When we played 10 games a year ago, 8 out of 10 games was probably a handoff and let us get, those guys up front pushing the envelope. Sometimes we try to out trick ourselves. On Saturday we got ourselves in a little bit of a bind where we'd rep the play and we had to check our initial first play because the look that we were going to go with wasn't there, and we ended up with a 2-yard loss. Now we're playing behind the sticks, and the next 2 plays were actually well drawn up, well thought of, and we're right on point. We just missed high with throws and didn't get going and had to punt that thing. And that's not the way you want to do it. We want to be aggressive and push the envelope, but we've got to execute. We've got to execute like that first play. I'll tell you, I put that right on the coaching staff's back. It wasn't a great first play, and then the execution on the next 2 were on those players because those plays were there. But we do have to get in a fast start, and we have to simplify.
Any other questions for Coach at this time?
Coach, kind of ironic that was in 17 that the team was 0-2 and went into Charlotte. And of course, Mr. Gilmore remembers making a big play in that game, and it catapulted the team. This is a different Charlotte team, obviously, but what a time to face a team and to do something. Are you looking for somebody to do something like that would be a spark, something like what he did in that game? The team needs that.
No, we just got to keep fighting. I mean, I remember him covering the fumble in the end zone and scoring. And, I have thought about it. My wife, she even mentioned to me, she goes, this reminds me a little bit of 17 because we had just gone to Penn State, and boy, it was, I think it was 56-0 that evening. And good old James Franklin iced our kicker and with about 3 seconds left to go. But I remember coming out of that game and it's kind of just like we came out of North Carolina. Yeah, it was a big deficit, but like I said, both of our lines of scrimmage played well in that contest. I think we outrushed Penn State that day in Saquon Barkley. I think we held him in check. So it's real similar, and I do reflect back on that. But we are 2 totally different teams. Charlotte's a totally different team with a new head coach, a new philosophy, and a different style. And this time it's at our place at 7:00 at night. And but we're looking for any type of spark right now. But our sparks that need to come during the week. Our fire needs to be lit before the game. So our sparks need to come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And when we take that field on Saturday, we got to have the fire. We don't need the spark. The spark needs to have been lit during the course of the week.
Thank you.
About one of your spark plugs there, Antavius Lane. By my count, it looks like he played a little bit less in that North Carolina game. Is he dealing with an injury there, or you just want?
Yeah, he'd gotten hit right there in the inner thigh area and had some really some pain in that situation. And sometimes you err on the side of caution right there on some individuals, and you get them in there where you can, but. It's kind of like the Pinckney situation. He played a little bit, but he had just come back off of the COVID break, and you don't want to push your horses too early in this thing. If they jump out of that gate and you get running quickly, they're not going to be able to finish it. So we did limit his amount of reps in both those guys, to tell you the truth. But I think they're going to be back ready to go, and as we get closer to our conference schedule. I think they're going to be good and healthy and ready for the run.